Yo, what's going on, guys? Sam here. Welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are doing great today. Checking out even more hidden features and other great changes inside of iOS 14 that I bet you haven't seen before. So drop a like if you're excited, hit subscribe for more, and let's jump into some more cool stuff inside of iOS 14. Alright, so first up, if you take a screenshot or in any interface where you can view this UI, if you tap on this, you're going to see a super different looking color picker. Okay, Apple's never shown us anything to this depth before because this is what we got in previous updates, was just this page right here. But now you can tap on Spectrum to literally choose really any color that has ever been invented, ever. But if that's not enough for you, one of my favorite things, especially if you're a designer, is the ability to put hex codes in now. So you can get these sliders right here. Features, power features for sure that we've had from the Mac are finally available on the iPhone. So next up, you've probably seen picture-in-picture on iOS 14 and said, oh, but can I get it on YouTube? Well, the answer is not in the app directly. However, if you guys go over to Safari, this is an incredible workaround. Oh, look at this, another hidden features video. So if you tap on that right there, and then go into full screen like so. I mean, gosh, who's running ads on their videos today? What you can do is go into full screen right here, and then once you're in this UI, oh, what is this option right there? So you can actually do YouTube picture-in-picture, and as I showed you, you can definitely resize it, make it as big or as small, super tiny as you want. And now you got YouTube picture-in-picture. Now you've already seen the new incoming call UI, but what if you want to go back? So I don't think that there's anybody that does, but if you did, there's a new option in settings. It's under phone, and then in the incoming calls panel, you can go back to full screen. Following that, in accessibility, when you turn on Magnifier in iOS 14, you get a huge radical upgrade here. So not only can you obviously tap it from the home screen, but in Control Center, you can enable a toggle and just like that, see the new user interface. So you can now keep that up at all times, zoom in as you please, but also quick access to this other stuff. You can actually adjust the contrast like that. So many settings that are incredibly helpful if you're literally trying to see something better. Apple's long been really great with accessibility, and they definitely just keep making things better year in and year out. Because going along with that is one of the more wild features I've ever seen Apple introduced, and you can also find it if you head over to settings and accessibility. You can scroll down just a little bit, and there's a new one called sound recognition. I know this sounds wild, but this can recognize all of these sounds and send you a push notification to let you know if something is up. So in case you don't believe me, I'm going to cut to some B-roll right here. I'm going to turn on the water running, and I'm going to run some water and watch what happens. Yeah, it literally shows my phone getting a notification that says water's running. Now in that case, I don't think that's the most helpful, but in more serious situations, definitely like a cat or dog barking or fire, siren, smoke, even a baby crying it can detect. And just like how there's a Control Center toggle for magnification, you can actually turn this on and off really easily as well. And if you tap and hold, you can edit all these things on the fly. Which brings us to this next one. They've allowed you to see your HomeKit accessories in here and actually edit them. So you no longer to like turn on one of your lights, have to go, okay, where's my home app? I'm stumbling around my home screen. I don't know what to do. With the new app library in iOS 14, Apple's obviously making it so they don't want you to have as many pages, but if you do, there's a more easy way to navigate. You can actually just tap and hold on the page dots and then just like that, actually traverse them. So it's kind of funny that they just added this now when it's like the least useful, but you know, better late than never. And also I might be late to the party on this one, but you can just tap and hold anywhere to enter jiggle mode, which is honestly way easier and quicker than having to find an icon. It's super fast. There's a new battery widget on iOS 14, and there's actually icons for way more stuff than before. So in addition to Apple products, they also have a game controller icon now. They've got a keyboard icon. Next up, I don't know if you guys are huge sleuths like I am, but a lot of the time, especially I'll just be in the settings app and I get lost, I get dazed, I get confused. But now in iOS 14, just tap and hold to go back, and you actually can go to one specific area. You don't have to swipe back. Just tap and hold, and you're back in the main page's settings. When your AirPods are low on battery, you're going to get a new notification in iOS 14 letting you know that, hey, you should probably charge them before you go out again. And opposite to that, once your Apple Watch is fully charged and ready to go, you're going to get a notification on your iPhone letting you know that, hey, you can put that watch right back on your wrist. If you watch Apple's WWDC announcement keynote for iOS 14 really carefully, you're going to notice something weird. There's a huge clock icon on some of the pages, which leads me to believe that in a later beta, they will be introducing the option to use a clock widget. Right now, you only have this for the clock. In iOS 14, apps obviously want access to your photos a lot, whether you want to post or they're just requesting permission. And now you don't have to allow access to everything before you had to give them your whole library. Now you can just tap on select photos. So now you can give them access to some things instead of everything at once. In iOS 13, one of the coolest features in the music app was that if a song had lyrics attached to it, you could view this cool blur UI. And now Apple's added that natively. I doubt this is going to have any serious impact on battery because even if it did, I don't care. It just looks so much better. If you're a subscriber to News Plus and you're trying to read some premium content that is behind a paywall, similar to literally everything on the Wall Street Journal site, you could actually have it so it would automatically redirect to your subscription in the News Plus app rather than having to like copy and paste the link and do it that way. Jumping over to the iPad momentarily, Apple now supports multi-window for this, so I can actually drag up a second version of the music app right next to it, and I could separate it like this. So I could have this browse section on the left and then a now plain view on the right, which is sort of like how it looked in iOS 13. And Apple will be adding this in a later beta for the iPad. It doesn't seem to be, at least on my newer iPad Pro just yet, but low power mode for iPad. They've confirmed this themselves on their website, and it's not on my device just yet, but hopefully it comes soon. There's a couple things in the camera app that I didn't show you last time, particularly one thing for burst photos. So if you want to, you can go back to the camera app after enabling that setting, and the volume up will enable a burst mode photo. So you know what that's like, where it just, takes a trillion photos at once, and then volume down, holding that, gives you quick take video. So way more functionality in the camera app. Again, nobody really expected this was coming. And then Apple was like, oh yeah, by the way, we're also revamping the camera app in every way, but not telling anybody. So there's so much hidden stuff in here, especially that I talked about in my last video. If you want to browse the internet with more anonymity, you can head over to your local network, whatever you're currently connected to, and use a private address. So rather than everything being public, you can use a private address just like that. Now that being said, something that I can't believe Apple didn't talk about at all is the completely revamped Game Center interface. Add me at iupdate 1 because I bet one of you guys took iupdate and I'm still, losing sleep over that one. But in here, there are also some friend suggestions that you can go and look at and even view achievements. So wow, that is a throwback if I've ever seen one. And also there's a nice toggle here for Game Center invites based on being close to somebody over Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. But Apple also added a ton of stuff for gaming in general. So keyboard and mouse are supported now. That's right. So your iPhone and iPad, they're gonna be able to game just as good as your Mac. Oh wait, you can't really game on a Mac, so it'll be just as good on the iPhone now. There's also support for the Xbox Elite Series 2 controller, which was not previously supported. So for any of you trying to go hard out there in Fortnite, it's going to be better than ever before. And for the first time ever, Apple's giving developers proper controller support, meaning while it was there in the past, Apple is letting you get accelerometer data, gyroscope, and even like changing the color of the light on the PS4 controller. Inside of the Files app, Apple now supports the APFS or AFPS file format, which is an Apple created format that stands for like the Apple Encrypted File System. If you use the Apple Notes app before, you can obviously just tap on that and get access to all of this. But if you want to do something a bit quicker, just tap and hold on the capital A lowercase a, you can quickly get access to any one of these great options, just like that. Next up in the Photos app, you can now zoom in on photos more than you could in the past. And shout out to Adam, who I met the other day at Topgolf while I was golfing there. Now we have our masks off because we're in like a confined area. So, I'm a strong believer of the mask gang out here. It was just for photo, but you guys can zoom in more than you've ever been able to before. And really just see the face of something that makes you happy. Inside of privacy settings and under location services, you no longer have to give apps to your exact precise location. So Annians, I love you guys. You are my favorite pretzel maker in the continental US. But I don't think you need to know exactly where I am. I'll give you an approximate estimate, and same for so many of these other apps. If you're one of the 7 people that actually decided to buy a HomePod, there's going to be a new feature coming with the iOS 14 update that allows it to pause when the last person leaves your house, which is cool because sometimes you want to leave the music pumping, but you don't want it playing when you're gone, but you do like it until you're out the door. On iOS 14 with supported vehicles like the brand new BMW 540i, you'll be able to actually sync a key with your phone so your new iPhone or existing iPhone is the proper key, but it actually works up to 5 hours even after your phone has died. Apple's works some magic that allows the little remaining part of your battery to actually work for express transit and now also for car keys. So even if your phone dies, it's like not that big of a deal. You can still get into your car. In the last video, I showed you that back tap accessibility feature and I showed you the double tap functionality where you could do this and then like after you tap the back of your phone, let me show you guys this demo. There we go. It goes into that UI just like that. But I've actually found that it triggers really frequently. So I actually don't use double tap, triple tap. This is a lot better. So you can just do 3 taps. All right, just like this. And you're in Control Center. And I've also noticed it seems like it takes a little bit more oomph to power the triple tap. You've probably seen this viral video going around. TikTok's been in some hot water because it looks like they were scraping a lot of user data, and Apple now tells you when that's happening. Like I didn't even realize until this came out that apps could actually do this. They could see what I just copy and pasted? And if that is not a direct connection to your subconscious, I don't know what else is. Under privacy, there's a couple of new icons, that one for tracking, and then also a whole new section to my knowledge called research, sensor, and usage data. And then you can enable it. You get this UI right here. You can go through and share this if you want to. For now, I don't want to turn it on, but if you do, it's in iOS 14. I'm shocked that Apple is doing this, but Find My in the future is going to allow you to track some third-party devices. Apple's creating a new program that accessory makers can join, probably in conjunction to the antitrust lawsuits that they've been facing pretty much globally, that they have too much control over what they've made. So now accessory makers can actually support finding their stuff in Apple's native Find My app. A really helpful tip if you're trying to type stuff, you might be used to typing like, okay, I want to go on Twitter, so I have to type in exactly that and then it will pop up. But now you can type in just briefly what you want. So I'm going to type in like Safari really fast. So SAF, look at that. I'm instantly over in Safari. Or let's say you want to do music, just like that. You don't have to wait any longer. It's super instant, super fast, and I really like it. I know a lot of you, if you're running iOS 14, have been wondering what's up with this dot that appears from time to time, because it is kind of weird. Turns out that's what appears now whenever your camera or your microphone is in use. So camera is green, I think microphone may be orange or red. And in third-party apps as well, it will say specifically Snapchat was using that camera. So beware of who's using your stuff. On the App Store, there's a ton of stuff that offers subscriptions. For example, I have 2 active right now. And rather than me having to just pay for this on my own, even if I'm part of the family and my family also having to pay for it, I can now share this with everybody. So everybody would get access to the bare yearly subscription rather than just me. It's like family sharing for apps, but now it's for specific subscriptions too. This one comes courtesy of a user over on Reddit because I haven't been able to see it for myself yet, but watch out for red light cameras or speed cameras in general. iOS 14 in the Maps app, thank you Apple so much for this, now supports seeing where these sneaky buggers are hiding. Jumping back inside of the Photos app, there are some new options right here specifically for filtering your photos, so it's easier to go through all your stuff at once now. What's so helpful now is the ability to add a caption. I know it's kind of hard to see down here on dark mode, but right there in plain text, add a caption. You can now say, this is iOS 14, which means that when you search for iOS 14, Apple actually knows what you're talking about now, which is super handy because we've never ever had that before. Now you can label your stuff. In settings for photos, you've got some new options right here to filter your unknown senders to your known senders to all messages. And if you receive a lot of random SMS text, you'll actually get another menu down here that shows you like promotional, spam. Apple tries to categorize it for you, which is insanely helpful because, I don't know, does anybody actually buy those random like $3.30 sunglasses that you get advertised to about? I don't think so. There's no way. AirPods Pro and iOS 14 support that really cool new spatial audio feature, and Apple amazingly is actually opening up that gyroscope and accelerometer and head motion data to developers too. So fitness apps and games could be getting a lot better supporting really dope audio options for AirPods Pro moving forward. So sleep mode is obviously a huge new feature in iOS 14, but Apple's done a lot more than just add sleep tracking. For example, if I go into Control Center, turn on sleep mode, look at this cool UI for the lock screen. Very subtle, very relaxing. I like it a lot. Like no matter how bright your screen is, this is really not that bright at all. And then right here down below, you can dismiss it and go back to normal. And let's say you want to change the time of one of your alarms or the date anywhere in iOS. Watch what happens when you tap on this. Apple's ruined it, guys. They've completely destroyed it. So I have to type in like, if I want to wake up at 10:25, it's kind of like weird. It's real weird. I don't like it at all. So the picker is totally different and for the worse. If you're a Powerbeats Pro user and you check in the little like error setup menu down at the bottom of your display, it shows the color now where it never showed that before. Routing where audio goes during phone calls is so much better. You can see it pops up right there now in iOS 14. Before in iOS 13, you had to remember it would come up from the bottom and it just wasn't good at all. So now you can just tap and tap again rather than tap, find it, and it's down at the bottom. And finally with Siri in iOS 14, you can now send audio messages to your contacts. So just say, record an audio message.
Who do you want to send it to?
Mom. Hey, this is a quick test of the audio message. I hope you really enjoy this, and you probably will because I'm sure you love the sound of my voice. All right, guys, that's all for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something new. If you did, don't forget to drop a like down below, share it with your best buddy, and hit subscribe for more. I've been Sam. Hope you're doing great, and I'll catch all of you in my next video. Cheers to iOS 14.